I rise to answer the question asked by Honorable Kepa in Parliament today. Mr. Speaker, sir, please allow me to correct the question. The survey conducted was by the Ministry and our Fiji program support facility funded by the DFED. And Mr. Speaker, sir, if I can start by saying that we at the Ministry are very focused on implementing the Fiji government's No Child Left Behind commitment. And we have, as a government, made substantial investments in ensuring education is made accessible and affordable to all the children of Fiji. The Fiji First government has implemented a number of initiatives that directly benefit the education sector and the children of Fiji. One such initiative is the fee-free grant, which we call FAG, that is aimed at ensuring that parents do not have to bear the full burden of sending their children to schools. Mr. Speaker said when the free education grant was introduced in 2014, it not only provided relief to the parents, but also encouraged children who had dropped out of schools to re-enroll. The initiative initially recorded 215 students who had re-enrolled, and I feel that was a great achievement. In 2013, we had a total of 203,157 students enrolled in our schools, 135,526 primary and 67,631 in secondary. Today, that figure stands at 221,637 students in all our primary and secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, while the Fijian government continues to make significant investment in ensuring that we do not leave any child behind, there are several factors that often force children out of schools. The last survey was conducted in 2018 on the causes of student dropouts in primary schools in Fiji, and it revealed that more children leave school due to abuse, disability, other economic factors such as poverty, health problems, and social factors. The Ministry has since then reviewed a number of its policies on child protection, behavior management, and counseling policy to ensure our children are given the appropriate forms of assistance and support so that they remain engaged and committed towards their academic ambitions. Mr. Speaker, with the pandemic last year, the Ministry engaged the services of the Fiji Program Support Facility to conduct an evidence-based survey on the out-of-school children, school-age children who have never enrolled in a primary school or who have dropped out and are no longer attending school. And this survey will help us initiate and form policies to bring these children back to school. The report, Mr. Speaker, is here with me. It's in the final draft stage. This will be formally handed to the Ministry by DFED in a couple of weeks. And during my tea break, Honorable Kepa has shown a keen interest in receiving a copy of this. Honorable Kepa, I will definitely make it available to you and all the other members who are interested to know and help us towards getting these children back in school. Like I said, there are various factors. So the report has been compiled in consultation with our relevant stakeholders, and this includes the Save the Children Fund, UNICEF, Ministry of Women and Poverty Alleviation, Fiji Bureau of Statistics, the Fiji Disabled Federation, and our teacher unions. Mr. Speaker, while it may not be in our capacity to address all factors that force children out of schools, we have been in a position to extend support to those dropouts due to poverty reason. The Ministry has provided support to families who are not able to send children to schools, and again, this is done in partnership with our various stakeholders who keep our children at heart. Through collaboration with our donor partners, including DFAT, UNICEF, private sector organizations in Fiji, NGOs, religious organizations, we this year have assisted more than 10,000 affected students across the country through the provision of school bags and stationery. We've also assisted 93 students in the Northern Division with shoes and uniform. Mr. Speaker, we are currently working with the Australian government's DFED sector to provide food assistance to 19 schools in the Western Division and 33 schools in the Northern Division, out of which 23 are boarding schools. Students in these identified schools are being assisted with lunches as well. Students in the boarding schools are being provided with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This program was initiated after we identified schools and communities that had their farms destroyed after TC Yasa and TC Ana. This program will go on for 12 weeks and will allow communities to normalize their farming resources. We have also engaged members of the community, such as our Mothers Club and village groups, in assisting in preparing and serving meals to our children. Mr. Speaker, through programs like this, we will be assisting 6,280 students, 1,728 in the Western Division, and 4,552 in the Northern Division. We are also working with our Fiji Police Force to identify children wandering off the streets of towns and cities and put them back in schools. I'm proud to say that I've received funding and support from the Prime Minister's office to look at this Street Kids initiative. And as of today, as today, we have successfully put 2 students back in school who will be monitored to ensure that they don't fall out again. We have a number of students we have profiled in the Central Division with our police force, and who we will work with the parents to put them back in school. I had a meeting with the parents last week, and the reasons given by the parents were varying factors. Of course, we sympathize with the parents, and of course, one of the things that came out quite clear was some students really don't want to go to school. So these students will be put through counseling, but I'm proud to say that I've put 2 students in school today, and they have actually been, we have spoken to the head of schools to ensure that he continues to advise us of their attendance. So like I said, we're not giving up on any of the child, but we need cooperation from the parents and a whole of society approach to ensure that we assist our children. Mr. Speaker, other than that, as a government, we continue to invest in a conducive learning environment. I'll go back to what my colleague, Honourable Minister for Women, have said, and actually plead to the members of the Parliament. We are right across. If you have issues with that, please talk to us and we will provide. Honourable Salote, this is in response to your social media post. You could just ask me, how long will it take for me to rebuild the schools? 5 schools currently are awaiting approval from the Minister of Economy. I think we've just been given the green light, so construction will start next week. These are the students who are currently in the 10th. We will be providing them with a semi-permanent structured building while we work to provide new buildings. We have identified 15 schools that will be rebuilt. We have secured funding for that, but obviously there's a process that needs to go through. So I have given the contracts, the contractors have given me 6 to 10 weeks to complete these buildings. They are at Lekutu Secondary, Maramarua District, Deketi Primary, Bua District, I've mentioned Lekutu, and Dama District. So these schools, within the next 6 to 10 weeks, I can assure the House that we will move the children out of the learning shelters and back into their classrooms. Thank you.
I thank the Minister.